Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all well. I was feeling especially moved to give a message today, actually yesterday, but I don't think it's a coincidence that I have been moved to give a message both before and after the 11/11 portal. It feels like a lot of energy was transmuted, was moved. There was a lot of shifting during this time, and I think it definitely changes the way the situation looks for Twin Flames, and really for just for people in general going forward. We're getting ready to close out this year and move into 2018, and with the new year comes a lot of newness, a lot of new opportunities, um, chances for growth, chances for people to really start living in their light and embracing the abundance that comes with that. Um, I feel like that in particular is a very intense need. It's a major task. What we've been seeing a lot of lately is people not living in their truth and being dragged down for it. So a lot of that has been traumatic. A lot of it has affected people. A lot of people who really had nothing to do with that whole mess, but it still brings folks down. So what I would say, regardless of what you take from this reading, the most important thing to do is really make it a point to live in your life and live in your truth, because keeping things underneath the surface is not it's really not the move. Not for those of us who are on the twin flame journey, and not for people in general. You can only bury things underground for so long before they come to light. All right. With that said, let's see how the energy for twin flames has shifted since the 11/11 portal. So, the divine masculine, for we have the seven of coins, seven of pentacles reversed, and what I'm actually getting from that is feeling of a feeling of uncertainty in the physical. So I know I mentioned last time that a lot of divine masculine were waiting, lurking, and waiting for the right time to um, to reach out and reconnect with their twin flame. But right now, it's feeling like they don't quite have that swagger at the moment. It could be that maybe the divine feminine's been giving them a taste of their own medicine, and it's a little bitter for them. It's not fun to swallow. But right now, it feels as if they're very concerned about their efforts paying off. They're concerned about their hard work properly manifesting for them, and it's kind of disturbing, that sense of grounding that they want and that they need before they feel comfortable reaching out. So, and what's coming up in the spiritual sense is the Four of Swords. But before we get to that, I want to take a look at this underside of this card that came up under the deck here, which was the Three of Swords. And so what's coming from that energy is that everything here is really being affected by that portal opening. There was a lot that was carried away from us, a lot of trauma, a lot of burden, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of a lack of ease, anything that was really disturbing our peace or keeping us complacent and really keeping us from making necessary progress. A lot of that stuff was unearthed and is being taken away from us, and a lot of people are either dealing with the trauma from that happening, because when you carry a burden, when you carry an albatross for so long, it only takes but so long before it becomes a part of you. So once it's removed, it's a matter of teaching yourself how to live without it. So a lot of us are going through that at this time. We're teaching ourselves how to live without our burdens. And then, but for some of us, there's a lot of old trauma that was never properly reconciled coming up, and that's at the surface. So it's really important right now, divine masculine, divine feminine, um, really, no matter where you stand in this journey, or even if you don't participate in this journey at all, it's especially important that you are very kind to yourself right now. You may be feeling a lot, but just let yourself feel. Don't try to bury your feelings. Don't try to hide it in work or play or whatever you usually turn to. It's everything's coming up to the surface, so you can let it go. So don't try to bury things anymore. Just let them go. So with that, given that context, I want to revisit the Seven of Coins one more time. And in its reverse state, it's definitely a lack of grounding. It feels like divine masculine. A lot of them have realized that shit ain't sweet. They got humbled a little bit, and now they're left. They have to take a step back and reevaluate, and see what they have on point and what needs work before they can proceed. So moving from that, in the spiritual, we have the Four of Swords, and what that's presenting is there's a lot of need for the divine masculine to take a step back and rest, restore, give your mind a break. A lot of progress is happening underneath the surface, and you don't need to be an active participant in it. What you need to do is rest, restore, receive your messages. Let whatever needs to come to you, come to you. You don't have to go get everything. That's the thing you masculines need to watch out for. You don't. Everything is not something for you to conquer. You don't have to do everything. Sometimes things will come to you, and let that happen. There's nothing wrong with that. So this is a moment, Spirit is telling you that you need to restore yourself. Take a break from things. Stop looking for everything. Let some things find you. Life, the entirety of life is not a big pursuit. So you don't have to chase everything down that matters to you. Sometimes they will just find you. So let that happen. Let what you need find you. So moving from that, in the last reading, I did say this card here, the present desire, was the Eight of Cups, and that was a desire to move forward, a desire to reunite. If you're in a state of separation with your twin flame, a desire to reunite and move on to new experiences. And what we're getting here in the Four Staffs, also known as the Four of Wands, is that same energy being actualized. The desire to move forward and enjoy union is very strong right now. And for the divine masculine, you guys are going from thinking about it and fantasizing about it and just filling yourself with joy over the thought of a new journey to actively wanting it to happen. You want to reconnect with the divine feminine, and you want to enjoy the new energy that this union can bring. There's a lot of creative energy that needs to be tapped into. When the masculine reunites with the feminine, that's structured, disciplined energy. That's you're uniting with that creative energy, and there's a lot of power in that union. So what I'm getting for the divine masculine is that they want to reconnect. They want to feel that energy that the divine feminine has for them. They want to exchange that. They want to feel that harmony. So the feeling for reunion, that desire is still very strong, but the energy is a bit more calculated right now. It feels like they're they're not letting love lift them up and float them around everywhere. There's still love. It's still just as strong as ever, but now their head's back in the game. So that's kind of that's how they want to proceed. They don't just the divine masculine doesn't just want a full out emotional reunion. They want this love they want a multifaceted love. So that's the feeling that's coming. That's the desire, the present desire that's happening right now. And there is still a matter of the divine masculine. A lot of them are waiting for the right time. So there's still that sense of lurking. But you also have to remember, because of the Seven of Coins reverse, a lot of them are trying to recapture their grounding. So remember, a lot of them really kind of got humbled. There's a feeling that the divine masculine dripping with love approaching the divine feminine, who's like, okay, that's nice. That kind of threw them. So they just need to. A lot of them just want to get right. They want to feel stable again before they try to do anything in that union. So for the divine feminine, there is a feeling here with this Ace of Swords reversed. There's a feeling here that there are a lot of old thoughts that need to be released. Because the Ace of Swords, actually it's funny that the Eight of Swords just kind of slipped out of my mouth, but I'll come right back to that. The Ace of Swords it's something, it's like it's sudden, it's fulfillment, it's a blessing, and there's something there that's, you need to let go of the old in the present to make room for the new. So whatever, if it does not feed you, cut it. If it does not move you, let it go. This especially applies to ways of thinking. If your old ways of thinking have not been serving you, cut them loose. You don't owe anyone anything. You do not need to carry anybody's energy. You do not need to carry your own stagnant ways of thinking, feeling, and doing when it's been made clear that they don't serve you. And it feels like this portal over the weekend, a lot of things have been made clear to you that that the divine feminine, they don't need anymore. And there's a lot of reconciliation there. She's trying to figure out, how do I let go of all of this? And That, I think, that goes right into why the Eight of Swords kind of slipped out of my mouth, because the Eight of Swords is surrender. So what's coming up here, there's a lot of swords here, there's a lot of thinking, and what's happening here is just the divine feminine in the physical, in the present. Stop thinking about how to do things and just do them, or let them come to you, or let them go from you. Thinking about the process is not progress. You might think it is, but after a while, it's really not. It's kind of just, it's just a blockage, and that's what's coming up here. There's too much thinking and not enough doing. Thinking on your actions is not nearly as beneficial as actually acting through. You're acting out your actions. So that's what's coming up here. Again, that feeling of old trauma being stirred up and released, things coming away from us, revelations being made. Again, in this Three of Swords, it feels like there's a need to process a lot, but mostly just let things go. That's the need, to release. And again, going back to that Eight of Swords, to surrender. Surrender it. Surrender your burdens and let them be handled. You're too connected with spirit to just sell it short. Everything that needs to be done is not something you need to worry about doing. For the most part, it's just a matter of preparing yourself to move on. So do that. Prepare yourself to move on. You don't need to know everything about what's coming up next. Just know that you will be present for it. So now, moving on to this Ten of Coins reverse. What's coming up here is a lot of, it's actually a bit similar to the Seven of Coins reversed here. In the spirit sense, a lot of divine feminine seek that completion, that grounding, but it's been disturbed. And it feels like a lot of divine feminine, it feels like the collective is indecisive right now about whether or not they want to see this card turned up right side up. There's a lot of indecision about whether or not they want that final completion, that unity with the divine masculine. There's a lot of uncertainty about how they want it to materialize, I should say. So what's really like this, what's coming up here is, that uncertainty is kind of destabilizing things in the physical, in the present. And again, it really comes down to, again, just that whole surrender energy. Surrender this. If you want that physical completion, that physical satisfaction, surrender it. Again, there's a bit too much thinking happening with the divine feminine, and there's a need to just, trust your feelings, trust your gut. Every battle is not a battle for you to fight. So cut your stake in a lot of things and let them resolve themselves. That's what's coming up. that's what's coming up in this energy here. That the divine feminine is kind of disturbing their physical grounding, their stability by just being a bit too concerned about shit. Like, just focus on what you have control over right now. Which is not to say to try and be too controlling, but just focus over the things you have immediate control over right now. You know, a lot of divine feminines are trying to live their best life and, you know, get their coins and all that. So do that. Keep going after the bag. Go get that. And don't stress it. So what's coming up in a physical desire, the present desire, is this Three of Coins, which is it's collaborative energy. It's stable, successful, collaborative energy. So a lot of divine feminine, they they want to collaborate with people who can help them manifest whatever is their most pressing desire at the time. So this could be seeking reunion with the divine masculine. This could be seeking services from a reader. This could be seeking spiritual services, services for astrology, etc. Just trying to, she's just trying to get herself together in the physical because this is a desire to. She wants to. There's collaborative energy going around, and she wants to utilize that collaborative energy. She wants to work with others who their goals may not be exactly the same as hers, but their goals still in working with them, she can still accomplish what matters to her. This does speak to wanting to reunite with the divine masculine a little bit, but the sense that I'm getting in the present is that the divine feminine is still pretty focused on her own pursuits. Which is not to say that union does not matter, but it's just like the energy is focused on her own pursuits. She's focused on living her best life. And it's important, this partnership, this collaborative energy, it's very important to govern yourself in this Three of Swords energy, which is, you know, don't try to go into new, don't bring old shit into new things. So, you know, it's like moving into a new house. If you have old ratty furniture, are you really gonna bring like your old couch into a lovely new home? Or are you gonna get a new one? Get a new couch. Leave that old shit behind. Because this energy here is very, you know, if you harness it, if you focus it, if you align yourself with what you desire, there's a lot of potential for success here. So, again, it feels like this, what's kind of joining the male, the divine masculine, the divine feminine, is this Nine of Swords energy, and it's internal torment. Like, both sides are kind of giving themselves agony. And it kind of speaks to what I've been saying kind of throughout this reading, which is stop thinking so much. Stop trying to do so much. Because a lot of this torment is torment of your own creation. It's not real problems. It's not major shit that you really need to be concerned about. It's just a lot of you're thinking yourself crazy. So release this. You want to release this Nine of Swords energy because it's not serving you. You know, if there are concerns you have on your mind, you need to just pull back a little bit and stop stressing and start parsing them. Focus on what's really valid. Focus on what you're kind of concocting in your mind because you're overthinking so much. Because what's it may turn out you might not have anything to worry about. It may turn out you do have something to worry about, but it's insignificant. You might have big shit to worry about, but you're kind of clouding it with all these little things that are coming up. So for both sides, like this is something that needs to be sorted out. Sort out this Nine of Swords energy. Sort out, give your mind a rest. You're thinking a lot. You're thinking too much about things you really should not be weighing yourself down with. So get to the root of that. That's kind of like what needs to be done going forward. This portal really opened things up for movement, for progress, and it feels like instead of progressing, both sides are like just thinking about a bunch of shit, and that's not helping. Your road has been cleared so you can move, not so you can sit there and look at it. So just liberate yourself from thinking so much. Your intuition is on another level right now, and you need to just to follow that. It's there to guide you through times of change. It's not just there as a pretty thing to feel. So this is a time we need to lean a bit more on your intuition and stop thinking about stuff so much. Trust that gut feeling. Let that govern you from time to time. When you catch yourself in thought cycles that are going nowhere. All right, so that's pretty much all I have for now. Um, I hope I hope you receive this well. As always, whatever resonates within you, just take that and govern yourself with it. If anything that doesn't resonate, don't worry about it. You can always find any other tarot spreads I do, any other posts. They'll be at readingtarot.wordpress.com. I'll have a link in the description. And then I tweet a lot of spreads as well. So those will be on Twitter with the hashtag RedInkTarot. And so there's more to come. Be well.